Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple Haze Podcast. I am your lovely host, Isaac here. Vikings fall to 7-7 after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals in overtime at Paycor Stadium. Final score 27-24, man. I mean, honestly, it's really exhausting to be a Vikings fan, man. Why does it have to be like this? I mean, this was absolutely a rough one, man. This one hurt, man. I mean, I'm exhausted right now just from that, man. I'm just exhausted. I'm not mad. I'm just really exhausted at all is all I really right now, but let's go ahead and get right into the stats. The Vikings barely won the time of almost equal as they won it by just 33 seconds. Vikings total yards 424 yards, 281 passing yards, 143 rushing yards, one turnover. They forced one turnover, 24 first downs, 5 of 12 on the third down conversions, 5 sacks. As for the Cincinnati Bengals, 378 total yards, 298 passing yards, 80 rushing yards, 2 turnovers, 22 first downs, 6 of 13 on the third down conversions, and 3 sacks. So, I guess we'll get to the good before we get to the reasons why they lost. Ty Chandler, a big day for him. I mean, he had 23 rushes for 132 yards, 1 touchdown. He damn near averaged 6 yards a carry. The best, probably, individual stat by a running back for the Minnesota Vikings, and that's Ty Chandler. And so, all you have to do really is just show this. Ty Chandler, all he has to do is show this game of reason why he should be the starting running back. He should no doubt be the starter, basically moving forward from here on out. I mean, Jordan Addison, he had 6 catches for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. One impressive catch, I think it's to, if I'm not mistaken, it's to put the Vikings up 17-3. He made an impossible grab right from the ground. It was almost a poor decision by Nick Mullins. Jordan Addison scoops it up and goes to the house for like 38 yards, I believe, a 38-yard touchdown. I'm not sure, but Jordan Addison is playing next level, basically, with side of Justin Jefferson, who his return, he didn't do too bad. 7 catches, 84 yards. Both of these two, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, are going to be a problem. Because there were a lot of times actually where Justin Jefferson was double covered by Bengals defenders. But that's okay because TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, they can make plays too as well. It's literally pick your poison with this offense. They just have to figure out everything else as far as I'm concerned. Speaking of TJ Hawkinson, not too bad. 6 catches for 63 yards. Pretty impressive day from him. And the first 3 quarters of the defense were lights out. They only allowed 3 points. They only allowed 3 points from Jake Browning-led Bengals. And let's talk about the individuals. Both Danielle Hunter and DJ Wonnum both getting after it. Danielle Hunter had 3 TFLs, 2 sacks. He also leads the... I'm not sure if... I don't remember what record he break. You guys can let me know down in the comments below, but I know he broke some sort of record as far as sack-wise. He had himself a good game. DJ Wonnum had himself another edge rusher, a sack, 2 pass deflections, 2 which included were at the line of scrimmage to really stop screen passes from happening, and also got after the quarterback. Pretty amazing. I mean, but the defense, I mean, there were so many times where they could have gotten a sack, but no dice, really. So, really, I think, though DJ Wonnum struggled. I mean, Josh Patel's had him was okay for relatively most of the time, and I know I'm going to get hated for this. I mean, people are going to crush me in the comments for this. I think KOC deserves credit for his coaching performance against the Bengals. He straight up does for three reasons. I mean and yes, that tush push was the right and 4th and inches was the right call because any other team would make it. It was just bad execution. We'll get to that. And so for me, he basically was aggressive. He consistently moved the ball down the field. He knew to give Ty Chandler the ball as much as he could. And he also had, not only did he promote Jaren Hall to be the QB2, he also had the stones to trot Jordan Addison more out there than KJ Osborne. Hey, that was a pretty big step up in the right direction. I mean, you can make an argument for maybe the tush push if Kevin O'Connell, but I'm gonna leave him out of blame game. I think he deserves some credit for this game. He did an absolute amazing job coaching. Let's get to the bad. So, I mean, maybe not bad. Nick Mullins, I thought he did okay for the most part. He had a 78% completion rate, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean, so basically those boneheaded interceptions in the first half, I mean, it looked like Nick Mullins had a big brain fart in the last 2 of those. One in particular where he threw a pick right into one of the Bengals defenders, Hill, right to him with nobody. Basically, there was no Vikings receiver right there. He just threw it right to him. And the second one, he was going down for a sack. As he's going down, he decided to get rid of the ball at the last second and hit the Bengals defender, and he had an interception on that one too. And there were so many also just poor decisions, just trying to make too much out of nothing, really. I mean, you can't really do that, which ultimately, realistically, those 2 interceptions mainly costed the Vikings 6 points, at least 6, which the game would not be in overtime. The Vikings would have won if those interceptions did not happen, but they did happen, really. So, I mean, Nick Mullins was okay. I mean, those 2 boneheaded picks ultimately, though, cost the game in the end. The fourth quarter defense, I mean, really, though, the first 3 quarters of the defense, I gotta admit, they played lights out. They played extremely good. Somehow in the fourth quarter, they've fallen apart in the fourth quarter. They gave up 3 touchdowns. That's unacceptable. Basically, I don't know, man. There was just a lot of missed tackles and miscommunication. I believe it's the second scoring drive where the Bengals went on second, and I'm not sure if this is 2nd and 21 or 3rd and 21, and the defense gave up a 25-yard catch to Jamar Chase to make it a first down and to extend their drive. And then on 4th and inches, that Joe Mixon touchdown that they gave up, Ivan Pace Jr., I thought they stuffed him. Ivan Pace Jr. was right there. There was nobody else to help him out, really. Just everybody was there. And then, what do you know? Joe Mixon muscles his way into the end zone. Unacceptable to be doing that. And then the third one, I mean, it was a miscommunication between Byron. I'm not sure if this is Byron Murphy Jr. and Mekhi Blackman, but there was at one point where T. Higgins was reaching for the end zone on that deep touchdown pass where Mekhi Blackman could have made a play on the ball. Instead, he just was too late, and then T. Higgins was already past the end zone without making any effort to punch the ball out, which could have resulted in a fumble, really. I mean, you can definitely blame some on Brian Flores, and this is a compliment to Brian Flores. This was probably a bad defense really in the fourth quarter. It struggled mightily, but this is the first time where the defense ever came clutch, and they did not really come clutch again, really. But that time the Vikings scored a touchdown, but then the Bengals tied it up. So I mean, it's okay. It's just one game. I'm not gonna eat Brian Flores' lunch for this. And the 4th and inches, also tush push, really. I do not have a problem with the play call, really, because all 32 teams would have done this in this situation. If you're just right in the hairline of an inch, really, from the first down, most teams, about like 98% of teams get it through. But honestly, the execution was really bad on that play. There was no like really anchor to really push or anything. The offensive line did a terrible job for Nick Mullins, and Nick Mullins for running into the tackle on one play, really, which there was no pushing right there. Especially Garrett Bradbury, who got lit up on that play. He got destroyed and got pushed back. And really, though, Garrett Bradbury, I mean, you just gotta make that push right there. As a starting offensive line, you can't make a push? Really? Honestly, inexcusable to not really get that tush push. And that is ultimately what costed them the game in overtime, really. And that's when the Vikings gave the ball back to the Bengals. I mean, I'm just really exhausted right now. I'm tired right now, man. You just cannot be blowing away through too many games, whether it be players, whether it be coaches. You can't be blowing to because it's still a very much tight race, and the Vikings still have the 6th seed. Really, you have 3 more games coming up, but the margin of error right now is small. We'll see how it goes, though, for the rest of the games, but that was a brutal loss, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol.